Imagine stepping into a time machine, setting the dial to the 1500s, and witnessing the fashion of the era. The grandeur of the 1500s, when men's fashion was a riotous display of doublets, hose, and codpieces. Each outfit was a work of art, an elaborate tapestry of rich fabrics and ornate detailing. But as time passed, practicality began to outweigh pageantry. The 1700s saw a shift towards more functional attire. Breeches and waistcoats stepped into the limelight, and the tricorn hat became a fashionable headpiece. An era of sartorial simplicity had begun. Fast forward to the 1800s, and we see the birth of an enduring style icon, the three-piece suit. This marked a significant pivot in men's fashion. The suit symbolized a new kind of elegance, one that was understated yet sophisticated. As we exit the 1800s, we see the dawn of the classic three-piece suit, a style that has stood the test of time. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the evolution of men's fashion accelerates. As we step into the early 1900s, the gentleman's wardrobe is still dominated by formal attire, think tailcoats and top hats. However, the onset of World War I ushers in a need for practicality, and military-inspired clothing takes center stage. Moving into the 1920s and 30s, suits undergo a transformation, shedding their rigid structures for more comfortable, relaxed fits. This is a period of transition, with the refined elegance of the past mingling with the emerging modern styles. Then, the 1940s and 50s introduce a new player to the game: casual wear. The rise of jeans and t-shirts marks a significant shift in men's fashion, reflecting the relaxed social attitudes of the time. By the mid-20th century, the line between formal and casual wear began to blur, setting the stage for the fashion revolutions of the decades to come. The 1960s ushered in an era of fashion experimentation and rebellion. As the decade unfolded, men's fashion began to mirror the social and political upheavals of the time. Psychedelic prints, inspired by the counterculture movement, splashed across shirts and ties. Flared pants, once the domain of sailors and workers, became a staple of the stylish man's wardrobe, embodying a sense of freedom and individuality. The 1970s continued this trend of fashion rebellion. The decade became synonymous with the infamous disco suits, complete with wide lapels, vibrant colors, and ostentatious patterns. These suits were a clear departure from the conservative styles of previous decades, and an embrace of the flamboyant and the audacious. However, as the 1980s rolled in, the pendulum swung back to more conservative styles. Business suits regained their popularity, becoming a symbol of power and status. Alongside this, preppy styles emerged, championing a clean, collegiate look with their polo shirts, chinos, and loafers. Yet, the 1980s and 90s were not just about conservatism. The rise of grunge and streetwear challenged the sartorial status quo. Ripped jeans, flannel shirts, and sneakers became symbols of a new, rebellious youth culture, a stark contrast to the polished aesthetics of the previous decades. As the 20th century drew to a close, men's fashion had become a diverse landscape of styles, reflecting the changing times. From the psychedelic prints of the 60s to the grunge look of the 90s, men's fashion had truly become a reflection of the world around it. As we step into the 21st century, the evolution of men's fashion continues. The early 2000s were a melting pot of styles, with the fashion-conscious man borrowing liberally from past decades. It was a time of baggy jeans and trucker hats, a nod to the grunge of the 90s, mixed with the clean lines of the 60s in the form of slim suits. Then, the 2010s brought a seismic shift. The rise of athleisure saw men trading in their jeans for joggers and their dress shoes for trainers. It was comfort first, but make it fashion. Sportswear brands became high fashion, and the lines between gym attire and everyday wear blurred. But nothing has had quite the impact on men's fashion as social media. With the world's trends at their fingertips, men began to experiment. The influence of celebrities and influencers broadened the horizons of what was considered fashionable. Individual expression took center stage. And now, we find ourselves in a time where men's fashion is more diverse than ever. It's a focus on individualism, on breaking the norms, on sustainability. It's about making a statement, not just with your style, but with your choices. The modern man knows that looking good doesn't have to come at the expense of the planet. From the elaborate styles of the 1500s to the diverse and ever-changing trends of today, men's fashion has truly been a journey through time. Who knows what the future holds?